Hi, my name is Aaron, and this is my show, Reeducation, and I'm going to speak briefly about all the different ways that capitalism likes to isolate people. And I'm going to contrast this with Soviet Russia. I know, terrifying, right? Soviet Russia seems pretty scary. And it probably wasn't a great place, but in comparison to what we have right now, some things may be a little bit better. And I'm going to explain them here. So, capitalism. You are always driving in your car. To get from one place to another, you get inside of a tiny little box and you go along your day inside of a seclusion device of your own design. You basically sit inside of your chair and move around throughout the town without ever taking a second to talk or speak to anybody. The biggest interaction that you have with anybody on the road is probably honking and giving them the finger. Not necessarily conducive to a functioning society. Now, in Soviet Russia, they didn't have cars. Now, there are many reasons why they didn't have cars, and I'm sure that lots of people out there can justify why they didn't have cars, but the truth is that they didn't really have them. They had a few, but the majority of people took public transit. That's just how they lived their lives. And every single time they got onto public transit, they would be associating with people that were in their community, the people that they work with, live with, and are friends with. They would drive every single day with the same people, building camaraderie, solidarity, and friendships. Something that we don't really do on our commutes to work nowadays. Another way that capitalism isolates us is ordering in food. Ordering in food. I mean, it's so innocuous, you wouldn't even think that it would necessarily be a bad thing. I mean, you just sit at home, you call somebody up on the phone, they come and deliver you some fast food to your door, you plop your ass back down on your couch and you have some fucking dinner. But there are some issues with that. The first of all being that you're not seeing any of your family or friends, or even going to a restaurant and seeing strangers. You're just sitting at home alone, watching your TV or playing on your phone. You're not involving yourself in any sort of community activity. Well, it turns out that a lot of people that were in Russia, in the Soviet Union at the time, lived in communal households. Sometimes, actually a lot of the time, you would have communal dinners. People would pitch together and they would have food from all of the people that lived inside of that one household going together and having themselves a great big meal. Now, is it ideal to be living in that kind of situation? Absolutely not. But also at the same time, it adds to that social aspect of your life. It adds to giving you camaraderie, solidarity, and friendship. The thing that we don't have. Another thing, online shopping. Again, you're sitting in front of your computer, you're using your mouse and your tiny little brain to search around and find clothes and goodies that you want to buy. And instead of going out into the real world and actually meeting people and seeing people, you're having it all delivered to your door. Now, that is incredibly convenient, and it's amazing that we can do those sorts of things, and I don't want to disparage anybody for going and doing any of the things that I'm talking about, because the society that we live under incentivizes us to do those sorts of things and to live that way. We don't have much of a choice in that matter. At least we don't if we don't know it's happening. Once we do know it's happening, now we have agency. Now we have the ability to know that we're being isolated and we can work towards fixing this. So again, instead of online shopping, the Soviet Union used to have something called a town square, where people would go and get goods. Sometimes those goods would be held up behind long bread lines, but it was still another way to, socialize and talk with your buddies. I'm not saying bread lines are a good thing. I'm also not saying food banks are a good thing. There is something to be said about mutual aid versus charity, but, we won't get into that one right now. Social media. You don't even talk to your own friends in real life anymore. You don't even associate with the people that you love. You just talk to them on social media, or you see their posts on Facebook. You barely even interact with them at all. And guess what? pretty much every other time throughout history, and including in the Soviet Union, people actually talked to one another. Had friends. And finally, even when we are with our family and friends, we tend to be on our social media devices, our phones, our tablets, our computers, and we don't even spend the time when we are physically in contact with these people actually talking and associating with them. It's kind of a messed up situation where you can't even be face to face with somebody and actually address them without having a little screen in front of your face. At least that's the way I look at it. My name is Aaron. This is my show, Reeducation. And I still don't like the Soviet Union, but hey, some of those things sound pretty good. Thanks for watching.